All right, the 500 Club is elusive, and it's only special names as Rodgers finds himself on the inside of that velvet rope alongside Brett Favre, his former teammate Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, and Tom Brady. Next stop, Canton, but will that clock start now? And that is the question that mulls in my head as we come off of this one. Mac, I'll come out to you first. We've, throughout the season, sat in the green room and tried to figure out what makes sense for Aaron Rodgers. Where makes sense for Aaron Rodgers? What makes sense for the Jets? Do they give it one more go? As you see what the sample size was in a full season for Rodgers and the Jets, what are you inclined to say about his future there or elsewhere?
Now, personally, you know, being a part of the same draft class as Aaron Rodgers, it really makes me feel good that he's still participating because he's the last of the Mohicans from the 2005 draft class. But honestly, for Aaron Rodgers, I don't know returning for the Jets in 2025. I don't know if we would see a better Aaron Rodgers because he will be a year older in terms of age and, of course, in terms of his body. So I don't know if we will see anything differently. I can tell you this much, over the last few weeks, especially today against the Miami Dolphins, he was looking like he was having fun. He was making the Aaron Rodgers-like throws. You know, he was precise, very, very accurate. He was competing. So I don't know if today's small sample size in terms of the entire season would really give him the mindset, I can go out and do this again and do this for the entirety of the season. I don't think he can, but that's up to Aaron Rodgers. And if you're the New York Jets, what other options do you have, right? In terms of money, in terms of resources, if you do not have Aaron Rodgers, where do you go? So at the end of the day, it's up to Aaron Rodgers. I think he will, you know, do his due diligence during the offseason to kind of figure out what's best for him. But I personally, I think it's about time to call it quits. Hall of Fame career, first ballot, one of the best to ever do it. But my concern is if he comes back for another season, will he be better?
After that Achilles injury, it was certainly his intention to go out on his own terms. But no such announcement was made at the beginning of the season. No such announcement has been made since. As you look at Rodgers, Emory, was this a case where coming off that serious Achilles at his age, where he did get loosened as the season went on and you see maybe some more tick out in front of him, or was that just all he had in him?
You know, it's funny, you laid it out perfectly. What we saw the last couple of games, him slowly starting to look like the Aaron Rodgers in the last couple of games, even more so like, man, this is what the Jets expected coming into the season. But also while we were watching all of these games today, Joe and everybody, we was like, nothing we're seeing today is real. You know, so you can't get fooled by week 18. And this team doesn't have a GM right now. And I feel like if they had one in place, that decision would be no sooner rather than later. I also feel, I agree with B-Mac, it may be time for him to let go. He came off of a great game. He was able to knock the Dolphins out of the playoffs, albeit some of the things happened, but they got the win. I feel like it's time for him to move on and allow the Jets to start to rebuild this franchise and get back to a consistent winner. Because right now, I feel like Aaron Rodgers is the albatross hanging over this franchise for the last 2 seasons.
Easy for us to say who's not sitting there looking at the game check every week. There's a lot of money left on the table, and if you are going to cut Aaron Rodgers, you're leaving a lot of money off that cap. The dead cap hit pre-6-1 is $49 million. Post-6-1, it's $14 million with another $35 in 2026. How do you handle this, whoever that GM is going to be?
It's a sunk cost and you move on. You don't have to overthink this. You'll have to take your medicine and then you figure it out from there.
You're seeing it with the Broncos successfully taking that dead cap hit and still moving forward.
Paid 99% of Russ's salary. He was on the veteran minimum deal for the Steelers, and the Broncos are taking care of the rest. They got the quarterback right. They got the coach right. They got the GM right. Those are 3 things that the Jets need. Get them right, and everything else takes care of itself. And they have not been able to do that when Woody Johnson has been the owner.
As we know, it is always on Aaron Rodgers' own terms, and we will see what those terms are moving forward. Gentlemen, thank you.